Hey everyone, welcome back. Zara here again, Gail's AI virtual assistant for another fabulous episode of Style Drops. Today's style session is all about the needed topic of understanding that style is your blueprint. Let me be direct with you. Style is not about owning the right sofa or knowing which shade of beige is better, nor does it have anything to do with taste. Style is all about something far more fundamental. It's about the relationship between who you are and how you select desired outward expressions. Most people think style is decorative, something you layer on top of a life, like garnish. A throw pillow here, a gallery wall there, or a candle over there. But that's not what style is. Style is structural. It's the invisible architecture of how you experience your own existence, and when it's absent, or when it's borrowed from someone else's concept of what a home should look like, you feel it. It's like wearing someone else's clothes, functional, but never quite right. You just may not have the language for that desired expression yet, and that's why Style Drop Sessions is here. If there is one common thread that Gail has gathered from all of her consultations when helping people create their spaces, it is that there is always one missing element, and that is courage. Courage to step out of the box and try something new. Most want to stay in the safe lane. And with real style expression there is never a safe lane. Many times people place the furniture pieces in the assigned spaces that will be relevant or current for the next 10 years. Selecting classic choices that many feel once again safe in a very fickle marketplace, churning out a new core, faster by the day, in order to keep the needed monies flowing in. Trend markets must constantly be broadcasting something fresh, and the seasoned shoppers that watch these videos know all about that. It's the newbies, now trying their hand at adulting, and buying furniture that they don't have to assemble themselves, that find it frustrating and want to drive in the safe lane. The bottom line here, your space is an extension of yourself. Style is not about being all beige or bougie. It is simply about stepping out of the common layouts and accent placement. It is your blueprint of your life, and where that current era is at. Here are some things that are usually not discussed when planning your space. No matter if you choose to thrift the entire space or shop high-end showrooms, that space needs to have your own individual hallmark. Establishing that hallmark has nothing to do with the streaming of a specific TV channel. Placing a hallmark on your space is all about the desire to take a space you live in and intentionally cultivate that environment and have it reflect your personal identity, tastes, and life story. By transforming a generic, sterile structure into a personalized sanctuary, which goes beyond standard decorating, focusing instead on infusing your unique personality into the very fabric of your home to create a lasting sense of belonging and comfort. This channel's main goal is all about embracing your own individual style and will always be the main message here on SDS. That message will be placed on a constant state of rinse, lather, and repeat for as long as this channel will be available on this platform. And if you don't think that your space affects you mentally, emotionally, and physically, think again. We are extraordinarily sensitive instruments, especially when it comes to reading our spaces, and much of that reading is done subliminally. Always remember that every person who enters, including yourself, that your space is projecting a signal on the daily, drawing conclusions your conscious mind might never have agreed to broadcast. Your space is communicating the relationship you have with yourself, whether you intended it to or not. And here is the main question that your style forces you to answer, and this one cuts straight through all the noise, that disregards trends and color palettes, or what's new and fabulous in that specific year. That question is not, does this look good, but does it truly express what I want and who I am, which is a different question entirely. It's a braver one, and it is the only question that produces a room worth living in. Believe it or not, style, it is a constant broadcast of your own self-comfort. It is an act of self-respect, one of the most underrated aspects of being that is available to us. There is a particular kind of exhaustion that comes from living in spaces that don't reflect who you are. It's subtle, it doesn't arrive dramatically. It accumulates a low-grade friction that builds with time. Your space can start to feel more like an Airbnb, with a bedroom that doesn't restore you, a living room assembled by committee, that you felt vaguely reflected the vision you desired. You function in these spaces, but you don't truly relax in them. Gail has sat across from hundreds of people that have shared images of their interiors, even sharing spaces that were redesigned by ChatGPT. But they all carried the same stamp of incompleteness. Yes, many of those spaces are blank spaces that need to have just the basics. But most of those images usually contained the typical furniture placement, and they were asking for help create a warmth and coziness within that space. As a designer, she would offer possible directions, solutions, and some insights, but very few people would follow through. They would acknowledge the options, but most just want to understand the best furniture placement for a specific room, and then they would take it from there. But over 50% of those same people would never properly finish that space. They may act like they really don't care, don't know how, or just don't want to spend the money. But really it's about fear. Fear of being judged or uncomfortable about the outcome. And the strange thing is, many of those same design conversations admit their space needs to be styled, and most understand that it's about genuine intention, that it's not about high expenses, or doing it perfectly but just following through on it. What many do not realize is that there is something physiological that also happens in space, when it's unfinished. An interior needs more than furniture placed, it needs character, otherwise that space starts working against you. When you cross the threshold, your nervous system needs to exhale. The visual, more importantly your own interior noise, quiets when it can relax. That calmness registers far below verbal language. It's not mystical, it's what happens when your space greets you on the daily. You want the outside to match your inside, even when it's done imperfectly. Style is the practice of that acknowledgement to your self-respect. It is so quiet and broadcasted on the daily, so subtle that most people never recognize it's in play. Whether you call it decorating, most refer to it as something they'll get to eventually. But, if not completed, it will eventually cost you a sense of peace. We have been trained, by magazines, by algorithms, by the relentless curated scrolling of aspirational interiors, to believe that style is something you achieve by following the right rules. Neutral palettes, clean lines, everything coordinated. A room that genuinely moves you is never the product of compliance. It is always, without exception, the product of someone making choices that meant something specifically to them. Now more than ever, we need our spaces to nurture our lives in this messy world. Cultivating spaces that break rules, fusing old and new. Spaces that actually carry memories and actual weight. Allowing deliberate imperfection, that makes a space feel inhabited, versus living on a set. Style is courage, not conformity. That's not just a tagline here on SDS, but a design principle as well as a life principle simultaneously. Because the rooms that stay with you are the ones that you feel like you can just be you, without constant distractions, just being fully present. The ones you remember years later and can't entirely explain why. Those are the rooms where someone made a choice that came from taking a risk, to trust and allow. So stop overthinking it. Place the wallpaper, paint the wall, and hang the art. Gail can teach you all about scale or proportion, or which direction to lay your herringbone floor. But for those that find selecting pillows a challenge, seek design advice. Contact Gail here and ask your questions. Yes, she has seen plenty of mistakes, but those mistakes can be rectified. The role of a stylist or designer is not to hand you a vision, it's to help you excavate your own. To give language to what works and what doesn't. To show you that the instinct you've been quietly overriding, the one that kept pulling you towards something that didn't fit anyone else's framework, was right. Style isn't something you develop from scratch. It's something you uncover. Something you return to. Something that was already there, waiting for you to stop being afraid of it. Not because beautiful rooms are the point. We need style. Because self-expression is not vanity, it is oxygen. It is the daily, ordinary, radical act of saying, this is who I am, and I am worth the effort of making that visible. In the space where I eat and sleep and think and recover and begin again every morning, you deserve a space that knows you. Not a space that impresses people, but a space that, when you walk through the door carrying whatever the day has handed you, says without a word, you belong here. That is what style is supposed to do when you finally allow your own style to unfold. That's the unspoken language your space broadcasts. Your space speaks in light, texture, and color, and the specific selections of things that you choose to keep around you. And whether you know it yet or not, you have always had something worth saying. With that said, SDS looks forward to you stopping by again, and thank you for your likes, hypes, and especially for being a sub here on SDS. Until next time, ciao Bella.